Alrighty, everyone. How are you all doing tonight? Nice to have you on the live stream. My name is Nicholas Mert from Dash, as you all probably know, but glad to have you guys on here. Just want to do a nice little casual live stream tonight for really two reasons. One, I think it's been about 2 or 3 days since we did our last one, and along with that as well, market action is definitely a little bit exciting over the past few hours. We've gotten a slight dip in Bitcoin back to the lows, as we've been pretty much generalizing. We think we're going to probably see around 6,000 to 800 to 7,000 to do the triple bottom in prices we talked about on the last daily update. But anyways, outside of that, guys, we'll dive into it. Glad to have you all on here. Lachlan was asking what's the song that's playing. You all know we only play retro wave here. This is a song from an album produced by Time Cop 1983 called the whole album's Night Drive. You should listen to the whole thing. It's a masterpiece. But the first song is Static, which features the Midnight. We all know the Midnight here on the Dash channel. But yeah, so I think it's honestly it's been a while. It's because there's just not as much artist in this space. When you get a piece from the Midnight or Time Cop or FM84, you know, those are the gems. And there's still some other great smaller retrowave artists and stuff, but I know I'm such a hipster. I like retrowave. It's a unpopular form of music, I know. Rebelling against the mainstream, I guess. No, Carl 76 says, word of the day, exuberant. Markets aren't looking too exuberant, but I am exuberant over retrowave, I'll say that. Anyways, guys. Again, like I said, happy to have you on here. Hope the connection's good. Hope I'm coming through clear to you guys. We're going to go ahead and dive in tonight on a variety of different topics. Let me go ahead and turn Wi-Fi off on my mobile there. So, alrighty. The general discussion Telegram link is working. That's not good. We'll have to get that fixed. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive into the stream, guys, and talk and focus generally on market price action. This has obviously been what most people are concerned about at the moment. The headlines, pretty thin. The big thing that I've always preached to you guys, and it's the reason why I've been putting out some more unique content, is that when there's no big news, when there's no serious headlines, I don't want to just talk about random things, unless you guys really want to see that. But I'd much rather bring substance to the content. So in this case, I know the focus right now is generally markets. So I thought we would spend some time talking about that today, talking about some targets on what we could be looking for. Generally, it's still we're still generally down the same ballpark in regards to what we're looking for. And I want to say again, thank you guys for all the kind comments in regards to both the tokenomics speech as well as the market manipulation video. I'm glad you guys like that, and I'll be working on trying to create some more creative content like that as well over the next few weeks. All right, let me go ahead here. I'm going to adjust my mic a little bit. All right, let's see. Oh, the stream's lagging again. Let me check on the quality. What we could do here, I'll put the music on 240p. We don't need it. I guess all tabs open up here. Anyways, hope it's going good, guys. Let me go ahead and check real quick. Yeah, latency says it doesn't say there's any latency coming on the stream, but if it keeps popping up, again, mention in the chat. Want to make sure that the chat's working good. All right, anyways, still on long enough. Let's go ahead and dive into this, guys. Generally, in regards to market valuation, we're still on the decline. This is obviously because Bitcoin is going to continue correcting down to around 6,800 to 7,000 at least. In my opinion, that's generally what I've been looking for, because of the fact that that would be a triple bottom on the chart. Really nice levels for support. If we can hold that, Bitcoin could have a lot of room to move up over the coming months and into 2019. Juan, no, I do not run any master nodes. Let's see here. All right, I just want to make sure the stream's fine. Sorry, guys, if it's lagging through. I might go ahead and drop out of Discord here real quick just to make things run a little bit better. All right, we'll hop back in there when we do the call later on. But yeah, if you guys can, someone's mentioning someone hit the dislike button. If you guys can smash the like, as everyone on YouTube says. I don't really care. But either way, in regards to markets, guys, we're expecting that this will probably see a drop, at least in my eyes, down to about $300 billion. This would be a continuation of Bitcoin depleting another $300 per Bitcoin, as well as altcoins following. So in that case, wouldn't be too surprising. So again, decline down. generally around to a little bit above the level we saw back here on April, and a triple bottom on Bitcoin. Again, we're going to have Bitcoin dominance continuing to grow over the next few days, possibly back up to around, if I can get my thing out of the way. I understand the pain now. I have the chat feed in the way of my market dominance chart. Probably somewhere to around 39 to 40%, but I think it's going to be, we're generally close to the peak, guys. That's why I stacked up on some altcoins the other day. Done very well on my EOS position. My addition to SOB, I think generally neutral or slightly up. And then outside of that, I had IOST as well. So those have all three been either holding or generally doing well. But this is the same kind of stuff, guys, we've been seeing over and over and over again. Outside of some dramatic periods of sell-off, we've been seeing these hourly pop-ups of 2,000 Bitcoin, 3,000 Bitcoin, 4,000 Bitcoin, and then also drop-offs. And in fact, I think it was Richard Hart who pointed this out. If you really take this down to the 5-minute, there's been a new form of manipulation on the manipulators where they'll do a spike up buying into Bitcoin on a lower set of volume. And then afterwards, after they give the impression, after pretty much no movement in the market for the past few hours, that buyers are coming in, that the people who are playing the price, doing the BART trends, are actually buying. Other people will probably doing leverage trading as well, which we should do a video on in the Crypto Uncovered video in the future. But they'll pretty much flip it and start dumping even bigger loads on the new coming buyers. So that stopped quite quickly. Yeah, I just genuinely think, guys, at the moment we have a big liquidity issue right now. There is not enough money trading in crypto, and you can see it in the volume charts right here. It's the biggest issue at the moment, as we've been addressing. I don't think it's so much any other external sources or fundamentals on crypto. No overbearings on regulation. In fact, the regulatory environment for crypto is looking quite nice from what I can see. All right, looks like the stream's running a little bit better, guys. Glad to have that. Got some love for Knowles. Someone titled George Soros said healthy correction. Well, markets, guys, again, you have to be fair. Markets do have corrections. The one thing that I'm worried about, though, is that this is really all, well, you can see it in both ways. You could say, oh, there's low liquidity on this pullback, meaning there's nothing to worry about. And some people would still say we don't have volume coming in, which is why we're having a sell-off. You know, everyone's going to interpret it differently, guys. The big thing I see, though, is that we do have an issue of liquidity. There's no doubt about it. But what's nice is that I think we're going to generally hold around this level we held 2 times in the past. And might take a few days, might take a few weeks, but it shows that as we have the slope here, that the momentum of downside price action has been slowing. We've been staying in this price range generally from anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000 since back in February, with a little bit of price action towards the upside in mid-February. But for the most part, things have been making new lows. We're not feeling that much more pain. It's just a little bit of a cut to the euphoria we were feeling throughout April, which was a nice month. And then obviously the beginning of May as well. Let's see here. Martin, yes. If you want my playlist, just look up Retrowave. And you can look up the Midnight, MF84, or no, sorry. I think it's MF84. I think that's it. No, FM84. I was mixing that up. Michael Nappy says, not much to say. Get us through this crappy market. Yeah, Michael, it's just like anything else, you know. Let me see. Chad MC said, LOL, I'm watching Tone Vase right now. Such a disparity in opinion. You know, Chad, honestly, Tone's got his own opinion. I respect Tone to a high degree in regards to trading. I don't know what he thinks about me. We've spoken on panels together, and we had a good few laughs and talked, but I know that he's definitely more bearish on markets. And again, we all have to be contrarians to one another in regards to markets. Always got to be skeptical. And I'm not saying that you know there's never a chance of it happening, but I genuinely do not think you're going to see Bitcoin go below this general price range around 6,800. And if I'm wrong on that, I'm wrong on that. But again, at this moment, I would say that if I have cash here, for me personally, I'm going to be adding at Bitcoin for 6,800. And the reason I say that is because with this nice gradual decline after such an exponential run-up, to hold this 2 times in the past and to hold it a 3rd time if we get the opportunity, that is going to be a triple bottom. That is one of the best reversal signals that you can find. Triple tops, another reversal pattern to the downside. Triple bottoms, usually a pattern to the upside. It shows and signals price strength confirmation at specific levels. And interestingly enough, this is happening right on the basis before where Bitcoin went exponential. You know, it's right in the middle of it. So I think it could hold here. Again, I've made a lot of right calls in the past, and I've also made some very wrong calls. I thought Bitcoin would stop climbing at 10K, and it continued right on through to 20K. Luckily, I didn't just completely get out of my crypto and stuff. You know, you don't do stuff like that. What you do is you build strategies and you build hedges in regards to different plays in the market. So, you know, you gotta have preparations for both ways. And sometimes you lock in some positions and let your winners run. And if the market's correcting, you know, cut some losses, or I would say cut some profits in before, you know, things get too bad. And, you know, Justin Smith, Tonebase says the bottom is 1300. He doesn't say the bottom's 1300. He said it could possibly go there. His philosophy is there's probability, and this is something again I talk about with people, is that you should never just go in saying I'm going to buy at this price, I'm going to sell at this price. The whole factor is that you should set levels where you see a probability of a bottom. So let's say, for example, I add some at 6,800. I'm not going to put all my cash in there at 6,800. I'm not going all in. No, I'm going to add a portion there, and if it continues to deplete, I average down on it. You know, you have probability levels, and that's how you measure as a trader. You can't be a one-size-fits-all kind of approach where I'm going to do the same thing every time. It's going to be exactly at this price. It's not how a real trader works. Traders can compromise. They follow systems that are pre-planned, but those systems aren't exactly always finite, you know. Warren Todd didn't make a wrong call on Substratum, mate. Yeah, Warren, I'm telling you, dude, Substratum in the short term is obviously, I think it's done relatively good since I added my other edition, but Substratum has done great, and they've got a lot of great things coming. I've been keeping up with that and a few other projects for the past few weeks outside of the new ones that I'm researching, but really, really good stuff. Aaron Holly, Tonebase thinks ETH is worth 10 cents. Yeah, Tone doesn't have a good opinion on Ether, and I gotta say, there's a lot of things I don't like about Ethereum where I can agree with him, but I think that's maybe a little far-fetched to say 10 cents. But you know, that's the thing about Tony. He's outspoken, and he makes a lot of good calls and points. One of the few traders I like to watch from time to time, but I just don't trade too frequently. Mud TV wants to see ADA and Icon. Yes, go ahead and take a look here real quick. Icon generally looks like, again, if we're going to see Bitcoin roll over, we'll probably still see some continuation altcoins. I think Icon's going to go down to 3,000 sats probably. ADA BTC, I'm going to pray that Cardano holds here at this level and doesn't move much lower, because that's really the last support level before down here again at 1,300 Satoshis. Or you could possibly see it come back down again to 2,000 sats like it did over here. But yeah, I would definitely make additions if I had the opportunity of Icon hitting 3,000 sats, or for Cardano to hit 2,000. Again, picking up some protocols. Brian King, I think I just answered your question, but it's not a legal suggestion, or not an actual sense of financial advice. Dai wants me to check Litecoin. Sure, we can definitely take a look at Litecoin, guys. Some people were upset I missed Litecoin in one of my previous daily updates or something. You guys you can't be so hard on me. You gotta give me some leeway. But Litecoin, man, Litecoin is holding below that 200-day. Again, I'm telling you guys, I'm not trying to make a direct call here. I have no reasons on a fundamental sense to dislike Litecoin, but I have no fundamental reasons to really feel passionate about it. And on a technical sense, I know generally once we've gotten contact with 2 million Satoshis that this comes down to anywhere from 800,000 to 1 million Satoshis. And it's been given a lot of time to try to test towards higher levels to get past this resistance, and it hasn't done it. It should be above the 50-day if that was going to happen. And the volume and liquidity is not there right now, not only in just general crypto markets, but specifically Litecoin here. So in that case, I think you're going to see this come back down to 1 million Satoshis, in my opinion, but we'll have to see. Mod TV, we will be definitely talking about Unibright. They've got obviously the Microsoft Hackathon, which I'm excited about. Lots of cool developments going on, guys. Again, can't talk too much. I know everyone's always asking me about Unibright, but try to mention as much as I can. But you have to wait till some developments come out. I can't announce things before they come out. Ethereum nulls and Neo is the future business. I think they're good protocol plays, but I think there's a lot of other protocols. Maya asks if we can check WanChain. Absolutely. Tonight's going to be a big focus on price action, guys, and then we'll have some people on the Discord. Hopefully the connection will hold much better. But yeah, WanChain, oof. It's funny because the sell side volume is really not even there, but the price is so much better. Yeah, this is why I told people not really to FOMO into WanChain and wait for a correction. And I didn't expect this much, to be fair. I'm not going to say, oh, I called it. But I was saying I wouldn't even feel comfortable unless it hit 8,000 Satoshis. And now that we've seen it go below the 50-day moving average, this looks like it's rolling over. And it'll probably retest anywhere from 4,000 Satoshis to 5,500. If I'm reading that right. Sorry, I might have the channel way. Yeah, 5,500. So it's understandable. WanChain was pretty hyped up, and not all the fundamentals are there, to be fair. Like a lot of the ICOs hitting the market, to be fair. Someone was saying a triple bottom on Dragon. Can I get Dragon? No, they don't have Dragon on here. That's sad. Maybe I'm not typing the symbol right. Let's see. Take a look at Tron. I guess Tron's always a fun project to trade. Let me get it here on Binance. The thing about Tron right now is that it's definitely, whereas Ripple has lost its momentum, this is definitely still stacking up to where if altcoins make a rebound, if we get Bitcoin touching 6,800, 7,000 and rebounding strong off that level, and we get, obviously the triple bottom confirmed, you could see definitely Tron continue higher. You could either see not only just a breakout above these previous levels, but you might see a cup and handle, where you might get a retest of the highs back here around a little bit above 1,000 Satoshis, and then obviously get the cup and handle, and then moon off. That was the arrow did not work out there. That's the one thing I don't like about the drawing tool on here. Sometimes it'll scribble off of what you originally drew. Hi Nick, Seal Network distributed unsold coins to all investors, and now it's about 400%. Do you think it's a problem or a great deal? 14DMG, what do you mean by 400%? Did the token go up 400%, or did they increase the supply 4 times? That's what I'm curious about. If you comment, I'll definitely try to keep up with it and answer your question. Pavleska? I might be saying that wrong. I apologize. I love that about our community. We have a global community in crypto, and if I'm mispronouncing the names, you guys, one, gotta forgive me, but second off, that speaks volumes about how global this movement is. So all good intentions. I apologize if I missed though. Hey Nick, how do you think Hashgraph will do once it's out? I know there won't be an ICO. Just wondering what your thoughts are on it from an investment standpoint. Well, Pat, I'm going to call you Pat if you don't mind. Pat, in regards to Hedera Hashgraph, that's the big thing people need to understand, is that Hedera Hashgraph is not the original Hashgraph that was closed source. This is going to be a public ledger. It is going to be a DAG. Obviously, that's what Hashgraph is and everything. But this is basically going to be something outside of blockchain, a much higher sense of scalability, higher levels of consensus, asynchronous Byzantine fault tolerance. There's a lot of awesome things coming with Hedera. I got to go to the live event in New York City, one of the most exciting looking projects at the moment. The only thing I didn't like is how they're raising capital. So you mentioned how they're not doing an ICO. It depends on what your definition, how you define how they're raising capital, but they're pretty much sticking only to accredited investors. And it's a big issue with a lot of the ICOs right now, is everything's being operated in pools. So, if you want to participate in ICO, you need to grant allocations usually to much larger investors who eat up these allocations, and you end up having your entire token supply in the hands of a few people who are looking to dump it the first moment they get on exchange. That's the sad reality of it. That's why projects have to set up lockup periods. It's a really, really, I'd say it's a really unprofessional way of doing an ICO or raising capital in crypto, because we have to remember Hedera Hashgraph's building an ecosystem just like Ethereum, just like Neo, just like all these protocols, So I don't think it's a proper way to run capital by any means, and I don't think, if anything, it's hurting Hedera in the long term. But I love Lehman and Mance. They're such a great team. I got to interview Lehman right after the event. He put me ahead of the New York Times and all these big journalists and stuff. So it speaks volume about his character. And I met him personally. He's a nice guy. Anthony57X donated $2. Thank you very much. Thanks for all your hard work. The #1 crypto channel. Anthony, thank you very much, man. Much love. All right, let's see here. Jonathan Swan, what's up, Nick? Just wanted to say big up to yourself for that presentation about protocols. You're killing it these days. Your insight into crypto has really expanded my knowledge. Much love. Jonathan, I'm glad you liked it. I think it was a good balance lengthwise for a lot of people to really watch and get some substance. But I'll be honest, I didn't think people would like it that much. And I'm really, really happy to see the kind of positive reaction that people gave. So thank you, guys. And I'll definitely try to get more recordings of the speeches I give in the future. See, so 14 DMG, they are going to distribute all tokens, this is for Seal, that they did not sell to ICO investors, which is about 400%. Oh, wow. So, well, I'm assuming you're saying that's still, I'm trying to read what you're saying, I'm sorry. You're probably saying that's 4 times larger than what they gave to investors. Yeah, that's the thing a lot of people don't consider, is that a lot of these projects hold a lot of their tokens for their team, for different expenses, and for different reasons later on outside of the ETH that they get. And CoinMarketCap doesn't factor that into supply a lot of the time. That's a very dangerous factor. Night pause. Thank you very much. I'm glad we have Pepe emojis. That's good. Stefan, how many coins do you hold? On a numeric basis, that's one statistic out of my portfolio I couldn't tell you right off the top of my head. I'd say that I at least own close to, in the sense of hodling, like long term, anywhere from probably 8 to 10 projects. I'd say it's around that ballpark, or at least close to it. Chad MC says the downtrend is picking up pace. Maybe it's because is it Data Dash FUD kicking in? Oh, look, another almost 1,000 Bitcoin sell order. How nice. Alrighty. TA on Nano, thanks, G. Definitely, yeah, Strat, we'll take a look at that in just a second. And then also, Jeffrey asked, what are your thoughts on Bitcoin Cash? Do you think it has good potential to end this year off at 3,500 range? I think, honestly, there's maybe a case that Bitcoin Cash could, my friend, but I wouldn't be having, me personally, yes, it could probably triple if all of the cryptocurrencies really go through a bull cycle. But for me, I'm not going to be betting on Bitcoin Cash as my primary investment. We've seen it at 4,000, obviously, during the whole rally. So it's been there before, but I'm not keeping my focus on Bitcoin Cash personally. I just generally don't see a fork currency holding at that level. Maybe going there for a short term, but again, nothing negative towards a lot of the fundamentals on Bitcoin Cash. I don't really disregard bigger block sizes or anything, but especially the level they had it to. But I don't get a lot of the updates that are coming to Bitcoin Cash either. Nano, there's not much TA you can do on it. It's more of just seeing this continue to decline. I would like Nano to continue declining. I've been watching this decline for quite some time. Let me go ahead and move this real quick. Chat, Nano. For me, I'd like to see Nano continue going down as much as it can, because it had a dramatic run up this year, and I like the currency itself. But for me, I know there's a few things. One, there's obviously other DAG technologies coming into the space, and along with that as well, we need to see more push. And for example, I was so upset. and if you're part of the Nano community, you need to speak for me here. I applied, I think, for the iPhone beta for their wallet, and I never got an invite to that, sadly. But nonetheless, I think Nano is an awesome currency. I'm excited for DAG technology. I like that you can't double spend on it. They fixed the double spend issue, which is really cool. And it's just gone through a lot of rough stuff. And, you know, that might continue to linger on with the project for a while. As we all know, there was the hack on BitGrail. I'm just thankful that I stuck to my guns and didn't buy Nano, or, well, when it was Rayblox, I didn't buy it on exchange. So very fortunate in that sense. In regards to your question, though, Strat, I guess if you want something out of the question, I think the fact that you want to see this probably come down to at least a 1/10 of what it was at its peak. So it pretty much went up to around 4.5 billion. I'd like to see this come down to around like 400 million. I know it seems kind of like I'm getting kind of greedy at that point, and really scalping on where I'm comfortable on buying, but you know, I wouldn't mind adding here, but there's just a lot of other projects that I see doing a little bit better at the moment, price-wise. Currency-wise, I think it's still one of the best peer-to-peer digital currencies right now. Dolomite, how important are privacy coins? This is a question that I've been thinking about a lot recently, guys. I think most people buy into privacy coins off of the bet that they either can sell it at a higher price or that there is going to be a market for privacy coins. And I don't think there is going to be a market for privacy coins long term, at least the privacy coins in the sense of like things like Monero and Verge and a lot of other cryptocurrencies. The reason why, and we were having a discussion about this, we could probably talk about it here in a little bit. I think actually in about 3 minutes, we'll probably bring some guys on from the Discord if the connection can hold up. But the issue is that a lot of these privacy coins, one, are not really private unless you use external sources such as VPNs, Tor, you know, all kinds of different external pieces of software and resources. The second thing as well is that in most cases, privacy cryptocurrencies are never going to be accepted by mainstream retailers. So this isn't me being biased. This is just a fact, guys. You will never get Amazon accepting Monero. Why is that? Well, because Monero does not want to have any ties with a cryptocurrency that seems as if it's trying to accept private transactions. And along with that as well, it doesn't want to have transactions from a currency it can't tell where it came from. When I make a purchase at Amazon, whether it be with normal dollars through my bank account virtually through my credit or debit card, or if it be through Bitcoin, where in that case there's chain analysis, and companies like Chain Analysis, which can go back and confirm most identities on the blockchain. In that sense, they want to know that they're not getting money that's tied to anything dark. Now, I'm not stereotyping that Monero and all these currencies are used for dark money in regards to dark operations like the Silk Road or anything outside of that. But the fact of the matter is that Amazon is going to think of the worst. You know, it's going to think, what could be the worst possible, you know, case of us accepting this currency? And that's the thing that's going to cross their mind. Jeffrey asked again, what exchange do you use? Good for beginners. I still love Binance. I've been toying around with IDEX a little bit. I'm really liking the innovation in decentralized exchanges. Yeah, I still use generally Coinbase and Gemini and stuff if I'm purchasing Bitcoin. More Gemini nowadays, but I think Coinbase is good for safety. And let's see here. Alex, I could agree with that, especially if we get into another altcoin cycle. I think Nano could see definitely a continued run. Arjun asked to take a look at LSK, Lisk. Let's go ahead and take a look. Lisk, I think, is so long as it holds on this bottom line, you're going to get a strong rebound off like we have in the past, and this is going to pass through the 200-day eventually. It's just a matter of getting that first real breakout candle. Something similar to what we got over here, but we need to close above the 200-day moving average for that to happen. History is pretty much bound, I would assume, to repeat itself. You know, bottom, peak, bottom, peak, bottom, peak. I actually climbed a little bit higher that time, and then bottom again 2 times over here. So I'm interested to see where this goes. Myself said free markets for the win. Free markets have a lot of benefits. You don't want, I don't know, it depends on where you stand. If you want laissez-faire markets, I don't think I exactly want laissez-faire markets, but Grego said, I'm a big fan of ring signatures and Monera's emission curve. Yes, great. I do agree. Ring signatures are fascinating. Anthony asked, hey, Nick, I'm thinking about getting a few masternodes. What are your thoughts about masternodes and their future in cryptocurrency? Look, guys, I gotta... Here's the thing. There's some projects that I despise and some projects that I love that use masternodes. Okay. First real project that made masternodes mainstream was Dash. The fact of the matter is I think masternodes more than anything, and I'm just always going to be truthful with you guys on this kind of stuff because I'm a moral, rational being who wants to be as clear as possible to people. Masternodes can create great sources of income, but what masternodes act as is very similar to that of a Ponzi scheme. It makes you keep your money in something, okay? It doesn't, it makes sure you don't want to trade because you make your income by keeping it in the system, okay? And the thing is, you don't really need all this currency in the technicals perspective. You shouldn't need all this currency to do these features. It's just a trust factor that, hey, you have something at stake. If you, for example, in the case of Dash, if you falsify a private send or instant send transaction, you lose your Dash. You can lose it from the system if you try to go against the network. And I get that, but I don't think that when you have, I have so many masternodes. In the case of Dash, you have 4,000, around 3,000 to 4,000, and each one has to hold 1,000. That's millions of Dash that need to be held, and will never touch market. And because of that, it builds almost an artificially low supply that's on exchanges for buying, which leads to the price going up. I think it's more of a mechanism to drive up price, in my opinion, unless the masternodes are not abused so much. So if it's 50 of a coin, or it depends on the supply, I guess. But I think so many coins abuse masternodes, and it's more of a hype factor nowadays. Hope that answered your question, Anthony. I wouldn't say to turn away. I think Nulls, for example, we've been talking, has masternodes coming. A few different projects out there have masternodes. So I've picked projects that have trustworthy teams and projects that you really like long term, because masternodes are really only useful if you're gaining more of a currency that you believe in long term. So Neblio and Komodo, please. Tommy, we'll definitely take a look over Neblio. Komodo's relatively flat at the moment. It's not doing too much. But in regards to Neblio, I don't think we're going to go below 10,000 sats. I think we're going to hold here and probably come down and actually retest this key level. So, yep, hoping this holds at 10,000. And if that's the case, I might add some more. I got actually, the Neblio that I recently added, I had added some not too long ago, and I still haven't put it in my wallet to start staking. And I need to do that. Unless I don't think Binance pays out Neblio stakes, so I have to check on that again. But it's to a small amount to where I'm not really panicking either way. Definitely want to stake your Neblio though if you're in it for the long term. I still have some, I think, that's generally staking. Strat, overall, are you bearish on crypto from now to the end of 2018? Bitcoin higher than now or lower by close? Oh, I think Bitcoin's going to be higher than where it is now, Strat. I mean, guys, I think the big focus right now is obviously Bitcoin, but the thing is, the curve is slowing down. We're starting to flatten out, and we've seen something very similar in the past. We've seen Bitcoin, for example, on a much longer term downtrend, where Bitcoin finally cooled down from 1100 to 200 back here in 2015 and 2016. Fact of the matter is, I don't think you're going to have, much like we had a much faster sense of price action this year, you're also not going to have that long-term period of downside. We've already felt most of the pain in a very short period of time because most of it was gained in a very short period of time. If you cut out a lot of the ridiculous price action, we actually had a very stable year, and I think it's more of just cooling down because this market has so much more investors involved in it, so much more competence behind it, so much more real activity that's going on. It's lots of cool innovation, and Bitcoin is the backbone behind all of it. It is, the interchangeable currency that every altcoin trades with in practically every case, unless it's like an ETH-based pairing exchange. So, in that case, I don't think you're going to see, again, to be fair, there's Tonebase, there's a lot of other people out there who hold a more bearish case, And I don't mean to be overtly exuberant, and I don't mean to say that I per se disagree with them, but I'm going to be fair and stand by my opinion that I think that Bitcoin's going to hold around 6,800 to 7,000, and we're going to get a triple bottom. And then from there, that is a really big sign that we're going to see most likely a reversal, a pretty quick one. I think it's just a matter of timing. If we can get that and we get some kind of news in regards to Bitcoin and blockchain in general and the whole cryptocurrency space, again, waiting for a Bitcoin ETF confirmation, I think you're going to get it much faster than most people think. Could be crazy on that, but I think that's going to be the catalyst that leads us towards the next altcoin cycle. Eklund Wright, love you, Nick. Great channel. Please say hello. Eklund, well, if you mean saying hello, hello to you. Hello, Eklund. I hope I'm saying your name right. I apologize, but thank you very much for the donation. Lawrence, it seems like they're ready for the protocol wars, and go EOS go. All right. Rex says the real bubble pop will come when a lot of the products are live. That is when we can better measure the value. Well, Rex, the interesting thing is that there's a lot of product or blockchain-based projects out there that are working. A lot of them in the supply chain logistics space, and then also some peer-to-peer digital currencies. The fact of the matter is, though, is that what you see still is that so many projects have working products, but their coins, the underlying tokens and coins tied to them, they move at the exact same pace to the downside or upside with other cryptocurrencies. Doesn't seem to make much rational sense, but I think it's going to be that way. The real, what you're referring to is kind of like the bubble nature of cryptocurrencies is not going to go away until this is a multi-trillion-dollar currency market, and until we really, like you said, start getting serious about this, looking for the value in it. That comes when a market matures. That comes when big money comes in eventually and has to start settling down plans for the long term. Only real projects are going to get money in the future, or at least projects that are closer to something that's actually serious. Well, Biff, I don't mean to say that it's there's not some big money that's selling, but what makes you think big money is selling with both hands? Because we don't have much liquidity in markets right now. The only thing I could say is that there's some whales, and most of them are selling an OTC. Some of them are just hedging a little bit just in case if Bitcoin were to never come back. I mean, it would be pretty silly not to do that a little bit. As much as I believe in crypto, to have so much Bitcoin and be in a position where some people had this as a joke, just running in the background, mining some Bitcoin, to where they're now massive individuals on the world stage in regards to wealth. I'm pretty sure some people would want to cash out a tad bit, or at least diversify into other cryptos. Kevin McNally, you are our sensei of cryptocurrency. Kevin, thank you very much. It was so funny. I think someone had said Nicholas is the Warren Buffett of crypto or something in my tokenomics speech. I'm like, yeah, I'm not there yet, but definitely hope to be a positive figure like that for crypto. Let's see, Strat, is this financial advice? I don't know, Strat. This is financial advice. This is not financial advice. It's just my opinion. Let's see. Yeah, Dirty Fish, keep looking into Matrix AI. One of the smaller protocols. Interesting project. The team behind it is, especially the founder, is really, really good. Amal asked me what I think about Zebi tanking. Zebi, much like a lot of new ICOs, have not gotten on exchange. They're simply on low volume decentralized exchanges or easy to launch exchanges, and they're dumping on there because people get a lot of the tokens, and they've been in this game in the ICO space where they think, oh, I can just buy a lot of this and flip it, and yeah, they're all supportive of it for a week, and then they move on to the next ICO. That's the name of the game in most ICO pools, sadly. Toby, in regards to advisory roles, oh, you're saying how many projects do you advise being invested in at a time? Oh, I thought you were talking about my advisory work. How many projects do you advise being invested in? It depends. This space is saturated with so many different cryptocurrencies, and it would be idiotic to say that they're all going to succeed, but it would also be idiotic to say that, oh, you should only have one coin. I don't believe in the Bitcoin maximalist philosophy, nor do I believe in saturating yourself in 100 coins, because a good 98 to 99% of these in the next year are going to fail or slowly tether off. No one's going to remember them. They'll be the next big project. That's just because they're so easy to create. I'd say genuinely, in the sense of long term, again, it's not direct financial advice, but as I was mentioning earlier, I found about 8 to 10 projects that I really like. If you feel comfortable adding an addition, or you feel like you need to cut back, do what feels comfortable to you. I've met a few people in this world, and it's just, people have different investment styles. I've met a few people who have like 80 or 100 cryptocurrencies, and they're really diverse. But for me, I keep it in some gems. I do my research, and it has paid off. You don't want to be oversaturated because you'll lose returns, and then also you might have a crappy coin that might go to nothing tomorrow. BitConnect. All right, let's see. Waleed said, "Hi Nick, I'm thinking of quitting my 9-to-5 job and shift to trading. Any advice on what tools I need to make a living out of it? Cheers." Waleed, I would say for trading, I'd start off with my trading tip series, shilling it for my own stuff, but it's all free. Anyways, outside of that, there's a lot of great guys. I would research some guys who've done stock trading as well as crypto trading. So there's other great YouTubers and resources. But the big person I always respected in traditional markets was Mir Barak, MEIRBARAK. Tell him Data sent you. And then outside of that as well, there was another good little informative YouTube channel that gave some really interesting tools for trading during the day. I'm trying to think of the name right now. I can't remember. I'm terrible with names. But if I can think about it, I'll definitely Market Gauge. Market Gauge, that was the team. They're like I think a small hedge fund, but they gave a lot of cool little tools out to people. Let's see. Jared Robertson says, "What is your opinion on cryptocurrency alleviating poverty in Africa? Do you believe this is the case, or is it still a deep pocket gamble with high rollers?" So I think your point there, Jared, of your question is to ask whether or not this is really helping people in the real sense of adoption as a currency, or this is something for some players in the high end of tech or finance to speculate on. It's a good question. I think it's both. And as of now, as much as people love to talk about, look, I'm here for the technology and this and that, which I'll be honest with you guys, I genuinely care about the technology. I wouldn't be running this channel if it wasn't the case. But I have to be fair with you guys, and I'm going to be real. Why does everyone want me to keep checking charts? It's not because the charts have some awesome technology to review. I don't see people wanting me to go through white papers on this. They care about the price, And that's the big issue right now that is going to be a fact and reality of this. We're dealing with an emerging currency market. So you're going to have a period where it's simply, for the most part, generally used to speculate to make money. And I think people realize that and have realized that for a while because it's such an early market. And those who realize what we're dealing with are looking at a long-term focus here. And that is that this market has a lot of room to grow. But there's a reason it's becoming a market, not just in the sense of speculation. This is genuinely going to uplift people who, and in the case you're mentioning Africa, it's already started to uplift people who are using it as currency because their currency is deflationary. It's gaining in value. So a lot of them have actually seen their wealth increase. But along with that as well, this currency itself is going to free so many African nations, I would say Eastern Asian countries that have been wronged by the IMF and the World Bank. So many different countries who have been screwed over by the traditional financial system, from that tyrannical system of financial power and globalist activity, and bring about a system where they can actually do peer-to-peer commerce. And I'm excited for that. I really am. The tech's already there. It's more of sense of scaling it and making a few convenience factors built in. So I hope to build that peer-to-peer digital currency. I'll do it one day, and I guarantee I will not be doing an ICO, just to let you all know that. No ICOs from day to day. I don't need your capital. I'll self-fund it. Jay Lee said Warren Buffett stopped dumping. Yeah, Warren wouldn't touch Bitcoin with a 10-foot pole. He might have made another comment or something. Lewis, we talked about Nano earlier. I think it has a little bit of a ways to go still, but I like the project fundamentally. Amoeba, everyone is here for the money. Yeah, I'd say most people are. You know, I don't see many people actively reading white papers and being fascinated with the tech. But to be fair, it's the same with the internet. Most people either use the internet or if they invest in it, it's usually off speculation and making money. I'd say most investors speculating in internet companies aren't speculating because they really love the tech. You know, you can love both. You know, but anyways, don't mean to be negative on that stuff, but. Haven't mentioned price once here. Mark O'Neill says, haven't mentioned price once here. It's a war for freedom against the poverty we've all been put in eventually by the self-proclaimed elites. Yeah, Mark, I'm glad you see that. You know, again, on the channel, this is something I think a few people are nagging me on, and I guess I am partially to blame. I haven't put it out yet, but it takes time. I want to do a full documentary series to talk about the banking system, guys. Man, if you really want to learn why this cryptocurrency revolution is so big, you need to understand traditional finance to a degree. Go learn about what the Federal Reserve is. Go learn about the international banking cartel, the IMF. And I'll point you guys to some good documentaries if you want. If you go, for example, if you look up John Pilger, IMF, World Bank. You guys need to watch this documentary. It's a documentary from the 80s, and they really, I think, generally I think he focused in the Philippines, but, you know, I was just actually in the Philippines, and I saw so many of the same symptoms from the IMF. Sorry to turn off the music and stuff and get all serious, but you guys should check this out later tonight. Make that, it's your homework from the Data Dash live stream. Don't stay up too late, but stay up late enough to watch this documentary. It's only like, oh, sorry, actually watch the full one here. It's 51 minutes, but I'm telling you guys, it's worth it. Learn about the traditional banking system. It will open your eyes to just how large the financial institutions of the world are, how much of an impact they have in the corporate sense of things, in governments, and influencing entire economies, and how a few financial institutions were able to pretty much gain control of third world or developing nations. And man, you talk about manipulation. You know, people always, if you learn how debt operates, I'm not going to go on a tangent here, but if you learn about how debt operates, debt is, servitude to whoever you owe money to. You know, if you can, put, one person in debt, you can make decent money off them. If you can put an entire nation in debt, you got a lot of control in your hands. And that's exactly what the IMF and so many other banking organizations have done. Crypto Skippy, he has said he's seen it. That's awesome. We have other people in the community. William, yes, I did see the South African Central Bank said their cryptocurrencies are mislabeled. They are not currencies, they're cyber tokens. What do they think this is, like Tron? Oh, man. I don't get what... Okay, cool. Yeah, you know what? I want cyber tokens over worthless fiat currency. How about that? It is funny to see different disparities in opinions from different people in the banking community. It is interesting. There's some inner conflict, and not to mention as well, I think, in traditional stock markets and everything right now, but specifically crypto, because they don't know what to do with it, guys. They're going to probably create a central bank cryptocurrency. I could see that, but... Antoine, are you a prepper? Not so much as other people. I don't have a nuclear fallout shelter, but I am going to be stacking up on precious metals. I'm going to be buying gold and silver after the next crypto rally, and definitely have some forms of protection. And I don't know, maybe I might go out and get some survival gear and stuff. Who knows? But I honestly think the economy is going to take a pretty decent dip in the next year or so. We're just at the end of a credit cycle. Rates are going up, it's all the same symptoms. Jesse Jensen got to undermine the system in place in order to get a new sense and a way to conduct society and govern the needs of the many for the many. Jesse, you're right on that. The financial system doesn't do that right now. Money doesn't operate right now, at least monetary policy doesn't operate in the better good of average everyday citizens. And crypto offers that system. It is a trustless system. There is no monetary policy on Bitcoin. There is a finite supply that everyone knows and a set of rules that everyone partakes in to generate new Bitcoins. And it is a deflationary currency. We all get the concepts of it. That's cool. Everyone is playing by the same rules. There's no central authoritative that says, oh, actually, we're going to double the supply of Bitcoins. That's the power about it, guys. It is an amazingly new system. And we can't picture people using it. Give it 10 years, though. It'll be the standard, in my opinion. I think you're going to see a completely different world of how money operates. So, well, apparently, not enough of you have left for me rambling, so I'm glad you guys maybe enjoyed me talking about this. But it's KD talked about Zeitgeist being a good documentary. I think it's definitely good. There's some good things they talk about in Zeitgeist. They talk about the third one. They talk about fractional reserve lending and how money is debt. Mark O'Neill, you have just gone up massively in my book. Thanks, Nick. Mark, no problem, man. I appreciate that you're here for the right reasons. And as much as I mentioned the monetary aspect of crypto, guys, I don't look at my portfolio and say, oh, wow, guys, I've made so-and-so dollars investing in crypto. I don't see in that. The only thing I care about is increasing my Bitcoin comparative in the monetary sense. But outside of that, I want to see this technology take off. If I had the two options to be a billionaire or to create a peer-to-peer digital currency that the world uses, I choose the latter. I choose to create a peer-to-peer digital currency because I just want to see the world, see the unlocked, the locked up wealth that they don't have access to right now, that they've worked for, that they've produced. Stenberg, as much as Mir Barak will have that kind of flashy sense to him, he's a genuine guy. He shows his trades real time. But yeah, he actually makes that kind of money in a short period of time because he uses leverage when he trades. But he's really good at spotting really short-term trades for day trading if that's what you want to get into. Doesn't do crypto, though, from my knowledge. All right. Simungta, hey Didi, can you explain how Q-Link only has a market cap of under $30 million with such a solid team and idea? By the way, the Four Horsemen documentary is really good. Yeah, Four Horsemen's interesting as well. Good to see you guys have kept active. I was thinking not too many people in the crypto community. I thought too many people in the crypto community had lost sight of what mattered, but that's great, guys. You guys are warming my heart up. In regards to Q-Link, guys, again, I honestly, when I went into the trade on Q-Link, it was more in a trading sense, not so much fundamentals. But I think Q-Link isn't a bad project. It's just ambitious, in the sense of where it's at now. I mean, you can have a great team and a great idea, but it's about user adoption, and in the case of these markets, it's excitement, it's hype, and you're dealing with 1,600 other projects. So I think that's what it's dealing with. Simungta, I hope I got my point across quite well, but nothing negative on Q-Link. It is definitely an ambitious project. Warren, I wouldn't say that Americans got this is a big misconception. I think people say Americans got rich by scamming third world. I think globalists got rich. In America, for example, we've seen our incomes stay stagnant, and there's obviously been a massive wealth disparity. I don't want to get too political or anything, but the reason that is not because we're not taxing people enough or we're not doing enough to regulate specifically the 1%. It's more of that America has gone from more of protecting its own country and defending the industry here in America, that we've shipped it out and we've pinched pennies off of other countries, and that's boosted the profit margins of a variety of corporations known as the corporatocracy. And the banking system has laughed all the way because they financed it, and they use the leverage of debt to control these nations and to support their corporate friends. It's not so much an evil America, taking over the world kind of thing as it might appear on the surface, in my opinion, if you want my case on it. But I don't think you're wrong. The third world has been absolutely scammed. And when I went to the Philippines, for example, the conference was nice that I went to, but you go from the airport and to the convention center, which is this nice resort and stuff. And in that 10-minute car ride, I really got a good glimpse of what the banking system has left in these countries. And it's sad. It really is sad. It touches my heart because that's what I've studied for years, which is how the banking system has left this world in ruin. And I can't wait. I can't wait till banks lose their power and their control over the monetary system. I can't wait till they lose their purchasing power. I can't wait till people start to regain the financial sovereignty that they should have. And cryptocurrencies are going to lead that. I know it for a fact. It's the reason I spend every day talking about this stuff, guys. So maybe we can do some cool videos traveling in the next few months. You know, I've thought about this for a while, but going to areas where crypto is actually being used and stuff where it's needed. And when I went to the Philippines, for example, I met a massive community, people who are also investing, but a lot of people who really want to get these systems out there. You know, right now, most of them are still living in a cash-based society because, you know, the fees are just immense for transactions. Strat, by the way, what was your name? The name of your first pet, Strat? I can't answer that. That's a security question. Well, Strat, you know, my first, I think it was Satoshi. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Christian, thank you very much. This is the World Wide Web. I don't know if I agree with that. USA isn't exactly. We've definitely, our economy has gone towards globalism, but that isn't what all the citizens have been for. I can tell you, I've definitely not been a part of that, nor my family or most of my friends and their parents and their family. Jason, no problem. Glad I could help. Alex, thank you. Bull Run, glad you agree with that. Real health news. I don't know if I'd agree with the USA's quote unquote being the Fourth Reich. Oh my God. Yeah, I would say that, trust me, guys, as I've traveled around the world, you see the money and the power of the financial system is in all different countries and all different cultures and all different races and backgrounds because they have no sense of dedication to their nation. It is a nationless world when it comes to globalism, you know. I can't put it in any other better term. Yeah, radio is very right. Knowledge is power, and some people have found ways to game the system. Very true. Alex got a kick out of the comment. That's funny. Radio. You made another good comment. Yes, I think globalists are trying to do anything they can to stop this revolution. And I think, you know, the thing they're going to really try to do is two things. They're going to create probably central bank cryptocurrencies in the case of a currency crisis. But you also have the opportunity to manipulate these markets, I would say to the degree of keeping people focused on not only the instability, but along with that as well, the speculative nature, rather than actually going to use it as currencies. I think that's what they want to keep people in, and that would buy them time to make central bank cryptocurrencies. And I hope that that does not happen. And be careful. You don't want to end up like Charlie Sherman. I know Charlie Sherman stuff. You know, yeah, he's not in a good position, but he did something that caused him to get the charges that he got. But you know, he's dealing with the Silk Road. But I don't want to give Charlie crap for that. And again, everyone makes mistakes, and early pioneer in the space, nice, kind guy. I've talked to him before. And the thing is, guys, I don't even think banks are going to completely disappear. You're going to have a world of options. You know, some people don't trust their money in their own hands. So I think banks and holding houses are going to hold a sense of responsibility, even in regards to crypto. But I think we're going to live in a world of cryptocurrencies. You know, things are going to become digital. Let's see, Maximus, thank you very much. Frank, no, I would not do mining. Spencer, you bring up some good points there. Not I would say that Israeli interests have definitely had influence on foreign policy and neocons, and you talked about cultural Marxism. That's another thing people need to learn about, cultural Marxism. Saw plenty of that at university. Let's see. talk with David Hayes doing economic transitions in Venezuela. Yes, Stephen, I know a little bit about his project. I actually complimented on it when he first announced it. And I haven't talked to David personally, but I want to have him on the show. And yeah, no, big fan of David. I don't always get to watch his content much like a lot of the other YouTubers, but morally good guy, doing an awesome cause. And that's the kind of stuff that we need. You know, go to the areas where it's most needed. You know, you're obviously not going to get mass adoption here in the Western world just yet. You know, it's more speculation here. Vatan, what is GDPR? This is something that everyone's been talking about. So GDPR has been, it was something that was signed back in 2015, but this is a new set of compliance laws that any company that manages data from, you know, from social media companies like Facebook and Twitter all the way to your bank account or your insurance company, they all hold information on you in different regards. Your financial information, you know, health, you know, driving record, all kinds of stuff for insurance. Social media has your photos, your messages, your posts, your likes, all kinds of activity. These companies, under GDPR, under Europe, this new law passed in Europe, is setting new standards where you have what's known as data sovereignty. You own your digital identity. And if, for example, I say to Facebook, hey, I'd like to know what data you have on me, they have to, within about, I think it's 48 to 72 hours, send me that information. And I get to choose what they get to store and what they don't, and what they get to share with third parties and what they can't. Wooter, now I'm holding Alphelion traded ASAP for next. I don't really know. I don't know the project for Amphelion. I can't compare that. I apologize, man. I wish I could help you out on that one. Anyways, guys, I think it might be good if you guys are interested in it. We could get some guys hopping on. We could have some guys hop on the Discord. I hope the connection will hold. But I'll go ahead and answer a few questions, and we'll hop into doing Discord for a little bit. Big Baller League. No, I don't think my market I appreciate that you like my market manipulation video, but to your question about it leading people to go astray from crypto markets, really there's not many new people coming in. And second off, the big point I want to drill in is that my video, I think honestly videos like mine do better than regulation, because you can regulate markets and try to provide oversight, but people tend to find a way around and they get smart. The fact of the matter is through education you can learn to spot these forms of market manipulation, pump and dumps. Obviously should not buy something after it goes up 50%, because in many cases in crypto, it's usually P&D, a collective group that does things. Same as spoofing and all these different forms like wash trading, all these forms of manipulation. It's active in the space, okay? It happens. You just got to build an eye to spot it, and I think that's what the video provides in a sense, that informative nature like you mentioned. But, some people get scared of it. I think you have people who are either going to venture into markets, and people who are the same people are like, I'm going to let my investment manager deal with my Bitcoin in the future, So it's the same as like trading stocks and everything. Spencer, don't name the globalist. We know who they are. We know some of their faces, and we know some of the connections. And I spent a lot of time studying the whole financial system. Hope to do a video talking about it in the future. Let's see here. Let me scroll down a little bit. I'm a little bit behind on the chat log. We've been having some good questions. Larry Johnson, thank you very much for donating. What do you think about Banyan Network, BBN, and its connection to Union Pay, third leading credit card processor behind Visa and MasterCard? It's only at 12 million market cap. That's interesting that they launched a partnership with Union Pay. But to be fair, Larry, just that alone isn't going to make me think it's a great project. Again, I get people who toss me projects and they mention the partnership. I think that's good, but I don't know enough about Banyan Network that makes it stand out compared to other blockchains. It seems like it's working. If it's working with Union Pay and credit card processing, it's probably doing financial transactions. I just don't know enough. I mean, most standard blockchains can either use Bitcoin's proof of work or some other consensus mechanism that works quite well in regards to doing financial transactions. Robert, my name does not mean to imply, if it appeared to you, but it does not imply that I like Dash. In fact, I have a lot of problems with Dash, just like a lot of other forked off peer-to-peer digital currencies, and I'm very picky when it comes to peer-to-peer digital currencies. Let's see here. Awesome, Frank. Yeah, I'd love to talk about it. I think most people have a general interest in it outside of crypto. Living in countries that are not yours, conquered, bloodbaths, etc., and after that doing like nothing happened, I would be ashamed. Yeah, crypto. To be fair, I'm someone who wants to kind of stay in America. I believe. I don't know. It'd be hard for me to really leave America long term, but I don't think there's anything wrong going to visit some countries. I mean, I got to visit Europe, I get to visit Asia, and I get your point, I think, to a degree, but, people have different viewpoints on that, I guess. I at least try to lead change when I go visit places and connect with people and build good relations. For kids, if the dollar crashes, crypto is king. Good amount of range this thing could go, because if you're comparing Bitcoin to the dollar and the dollar's losing its value, I'll see if I can get the is it this? I can't remember if this is the way you do it on the chart. No, that's not it. Hold on, I gotta get this for you guys. Is that it? Yes. So picture what's happening right now is actually the dollar's losing value to Bitcoin. It's a good way to visualize it, where this is pretty much a flipped Bitcoin chart, where the dollar was holding quite well to Bitcoin for all these years, but has continued to lose its purchasing power comparative to Bitcoin. So I look at this. I want to see this chart drop more and more and more. I want to see Bitcoin go up. See if we flip it. It's just a reverse chart. Sean, Unibrite's been doing well. In regards to, again, guys, I don't really care so much about its token price in that sense. I think it'll do well in the long term, but it's just me personally. I work for the project, but I think, genuinely speaking, there's a lot of good fundamentals that I care about. I care more about the actual tech we're developing and how it's going to be used by a lot of people. I think Holochain's promising. Zebi's definitely a nice project, but I don't know if it's going to be as big as some people are prepping up to be. EOS is a relatively long-term play, Homero. Yes. I'm waiting to see what happens in the next bull cycle. I think it's going to pull a Ethereum-styled run-up. And I like Dan Larimer. Hey, independent alternative media of Australia. What's going on? Waving back to you. How you doing, my friend? I like your skepticism towards banks, but you forgot to mention that the guys at the top are smart people and they won't give their power away just like that. Maybe they are keeping a close eye on Bitcoin. Jack, I don't doubt that it's running on thin ice when you talk about people at the top being smart. I don't think that they're geniuses in the sense of innovation and creativity. They are in the sense of maintaining power. But the thing about finance is that the systems in finance have been the same for so many years. They haven't really had competition. This is something that Andreas really pushes, and he does it on a really drills a good point home, that so many banks are iffy on whether or not we should support this, because there's a money-making opportunity in the sense of saving the money to explore in blockchain and exploring new cryptocurrencies. And along with that as well, some realize that this can completely upend, or I would say completely turn over the traditional system of finance. It's Crypto H, thank you very much. Awesome to have some viewers from Belgium. God, this has turned in from a lot of TA questions to some really good fundamental questions and good conversation, guys. I appreciate it. Glad you're interested in this kind of stuff. Roy, yes, I do see a global financial crisis coming soon. There was a, oh God, I dare I bring up zero hedge and stuff. I mean, they've been calling for stuff to crash for years, but the more and more indicators that show up in regards to, they just put an article today, 12 indicators on the next major global economic crisis. We can see things, for example, like the Smart Money Flow Index ran by Bloomberg is seeing its largest drop since 2008. We've had defaults on high-yield mortgages, again, starting to reflect the early phases of that, of what we saw in 2006 and 2007. There's a lot of nasty stuff coming, and it can't last forever. Real Health News. Sparkster is an interesting project. I actually got to talk to some of the team, and I also got to look into the project. Obviously, I keep active in the ICO space, and there's a lot of people who are just absolutely crazy about it. The only criticism I brought up with them was in regard to the bandwidth issue in regards to running nodes off mobile phones. So hopefully that helps your question, Real Health News. I think that's going to be a big problem in the way of their stuff working long term. But they said that 4G and 5G technology is going to help make this more possible and more connected. So I don't know if you have to assess that risk if you're really asking for the long term. In the sense of the short term, there's a lot of hype around it. A lot of people are just going to probably flip it, but I'm more of a long term guy. You know what my thoughts are on Nebula. I like Nebula. Joey, PSU, the things government don't talk about are the things they follow the most. Yeah, I think they're following crypto quite well. But I know what you're talking about. The 1988 Economist covered in 2018 on one world currency. I don't know about all that. It's people tend to find connections and stuff, and it definitely is interesting. I don't know why that would be an illustration on a comic, the magazine. Yeah, Robert, they might be coming from Twitch. We have a YouTube and Twitch. Oh God, I apologize about that, guys. I hit my mic pop filter. But anyways, yeah, I use Restream, so I'm able to pull in both YouTube and Twitch. Katie said Spark Connect is a joke. I mean, the concept on the surface seems nice, but I don't think it's. Again, I'm very iffy on it. There's some things that need to get asked. I need to ask the team still. Gonzalo, no. Befriend your friend with a lot of Bitcoins, and maybe he'll let you help manage investing in it where you can take a commission. Is Bitcoin controlled by the deep state, as Roger Veer says? Here's the thing, guys. There is obviously been... I would not say the deep state, unless you believe Blockstream is the deep state, as Roger might say. I'd love to have Roger on and stuff again on the channel, much like a lot of other people in the space, but the whole fact of the matter is there's no proof that the deep state is behind Bitcoin, nor has it ever been. I don't think any government would want to. This is something that people always bring up, these old documents of cryptography and digital transactions and encryption and public and private keys. And they say, oh, see, back here, and the NSA was working on Bitcoin, huh? The thing they don't realize is that in the document it talks about third parties. And in a game theory sense, if a government discovered this technology, they would never release it to the public. They would never want a decentralized, meaning no central authoritator, a decentralized cryptocurrency outside of the traditional currency system they run and manage and, use to fuel wars and finance debt and to steal wealth. And they wouldn't want that on a completely peer-to-peer distributed network that doesn't require them. And in many cases, might be hard to trace who is spending what, even though it's on a public ledger and stuff, That is not something that a government would put out. And even if they discovered it, they would keep it locked in a box and say, oh God, I hope that no one figures it out. Okay, this guy Satoshi just figured it out. He, she, or whatever collective of people they are. Well, crap. We try to keep that in the box for a while. Yeah, I don't think, again, some people say that Blockstream and the whole objective of Lightning Network is to set up hubs and stuff, and I was worried about that for a while, but it seemed like a noble concept, as I am always a skeptic. But for me personally, I haven't seen it yet in Lightning. Lightning's pretty decentralized from the nodes that are running on the network, and they're setting up private transactions on there. I mean, it's got a lot of things that Bitcoin, the core currency or Bitcoin Cash don't offer at the moment. Bob, I think if you're in the right place, we could see with how crypto can move, you might be able to take 10K and increase it to 100K, but I can't guarantee that for sure by any means. Warren, yes, I am going to subblock. in the sense of what's going on, you have to get the details from Justin and what he can provide. But I don't want to speak on anything too much. I don't want to spoil anything that's coming up. But then again, I don't know too much in regards to what's coming to Subblock. Currency, I don't own any stocks at the moment. I'll let you know that in regards to my opinion. I got out of the market a while ago because I think there's so much going on in crypto. And I believe in diversity, but that's the first area I'm going to diversify into is precious metals. Precious metals are set for a nice bull market. Seth Eccles said, Nick, I have an idea for adapt to stream body cam video from cops and allow people to be paid to keep law enforcement accountable. Call it Justify. What do you think? Interesting. I mean, Seth, I understand that's I think body cams are an awesome technology, and it does hold cops accountable, and it gives us a good case of what goes on in situations, because it's obviously a controversial topic in most cases, and they're very individual cases. Those are always the most controversial interpretation, you know. But yeah, it'd be interesting, I guess. But what would the value of the tokens be? That's what I'm curious about. You know, you'd have to have some kind of value to the token in regards to it if you're or maybe you could get paid in crypto, that, you know, other crypto. I don't know if it's a dApp. John Doe, the moment when the government's starting to print crazy amounts of crypto and just buy in all the crypto, people will stop taking fiat for crypto. You'll see the price just kind of stagnate. Like, people won't be trading it. That's my philosophy on it. Or it'll just go parabolic to where it's ridiculous. Cream, thank you for the presidency wishes. Matthew Jimmins, we talked about Tron earlier. I think Tron might be able to continue its momentum. On a fundamental sense, I don't know enough about the technology, but I think you're going to get a general cup and handle on price, or just a general breakout above where it is now. Can't really set any serious targets, though, because it doesn't have any serious targets from what I can see outside of its previous highs in December and January. I need to take a sip. You guys have me doing so much talking. Homero, we were actually looking to do an interview with Dan Larimer. I was looking to schedule that. He's been pretty busy, but in the future we'll definitely try to land that with EOS. Mac Dings, you said you like boxing. If you're asking about the actual sport of boxing, I don't watch it often, but I like it. If you're asking about box mining, yes, I do like box mining. Michael's an awesome guy. Let's see, you guys. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up here on the chat. When you think you will publish or make a new episode on cryptocurrency manipulation? Clemso, we covered most of it. There's a few other things I would say the manipulation, like we've seen recently in Bitcoin markets, of dropping the price up a few $100s, down a few $100s, off like 1 to 4,000 Bitcoin, out of nowhere, and using leverage trading and all that kind of stuff. But for the most part, we covered the major things in regards to the video. That series, that will definitely be looking into the OTC market, over the counter, and also into the ICO space. So we're going to do one of those every like 3 weeks. It's like every 4 weeks generally. They're not going to be as common as I'd like them to be. John F., yeah, we could possibly do an interview with Tone. I wouldn't mind talking. I mean, again, I've spoken on a panel with Tone. I like him in a lot of regards and stuff, and he's a good, rational guy. J Buttons, yes, I tend to use stop losses a lot. Dave, yeah, I mean, McAfee's on the run at the moment. I don't know if he'll have some time to catch up with me, but wouldn't want the government seeing that and then trying to ping the coordinates for our connection. I don't really know how that would be on the technical side of things, but yeah, I wouldn't want the government asking me any questions like, "Hey Nick, I saw you did an interview with McAfee. Did he say anything about where he is?" And I'd be like, "No." Nick, love your speech earlier this week. So you don't believe there will be a single protocol that overtakes all the others like a Google? Proceeding Pi, yes. I think you're going to have multiple protocols for different purposes. Protocols have different philosophies. Homero, thank you very much. Appreciate it, man. I'm thinking about hard forking my gender, but it's very expensive. Jangleys, we can have 64 different forks. I can tell you that. We're gonna have no need for just 2 genders anymore. We're gonna fork off 64, and all of them will be secure networks, real networks. Frank, I'm glad you liked the market manipulation video. Okay. Check StakeNet, XSN, TPOS, DEX, MN, cold storage. Have a look on. See, definitely, I'll take a look through those. Competition is always expected. GP, I have some people in the ICO space who are hyping up Gochi, and I don't know enough about it. Rick's, again, the lowest I see Bitcoin going is 68 to 7,000. Why only 64, bigot? I know, we should have, in fact, we should have thousands and thousands of similar cryptocurrencies with different gender labels. So many forks to go around. Yeah, I think McAfee's bet on Bitcoin going to 15K in June is a little optimistic. I think you could see it if you had the ETF, but hey, in this space, it pays to have bold predictions. Okay. Yeah, New Era would like to meet Reggie. That would be cool. I know he's working with Veritas and hope things are going well. Adrian, thank you very much. I appreciate kind comments. All right, well, I might go ahead here, guys. Has the connection been good on the stream? Because I might see if we can pull on some people onto Discord, if that's the case. And if you guys, and you tell me in the chat if you guys would like to do a Discord chat tonight. I know we've been having some good vocal conversation, but it might be good if we can bring in some of the guys to talk about these topics. And if you guys want to come on the Discord, if I do eventually get on, or if you guys just want to chat with people, definitely hop into the general chat, chat it up with people. Just type in !Discord or go into the description and check it out. And sorry, the questions are bouncing around. Ashige, sorry, I might be saying your name wrong. It's funny, a lot of people have been mentioning Tone. I like Tone for a lot of reasons and stuff. I don't think all altcoins are scams, Again, a lot of these coins have been mined. Many of them do have different aspects of Bitcoin, but the mass majority are either forks off of Bitcoin or forks off of a proof-of-stake coin like Purecoin. A lot of them don't bring new innovation to the table. The ICO space is ridiculous, so I agree with all these things. But to just go out and say all of them, I think he does that for simplicity's sake. Most of them are either scams, copycats, don't offer anything new to the table. That's the fact of the reality. But what I look for in regards to projects is I look for things that are doing real, actual development on tech, use cases for blockchain, tech that I can see actually scaling, being used by people, And there are some projects like that. There's some people in this space who aren't just here for money. They're actually here to develop something. And that's nice to see. I think you see that mostly with the cypherpunks. You see that with people who have been in the space for a while. The Charles Hoskinsons, People who really care about this movement. The Umpire Strikes Back. Thank you very much, man. I spent a lot of time in crypto markets. So Maximus, if you don't know, McAfee has had a subpoena issued by the SEC since 2016 in relation to MGT Capital Investments, from my understanding. Don't claim me and quote on that, but I think it was around the time he was either there or leaving from MGT Capital Investments, which is where he used to work. But yeah, he went public with it, and he's on the run right now. So maybe we can catch him. I don't know. Maybe we can get him on a live stream. Didn't mean catch him in the sense of fine. McAfee can make his own decisions. I don't want to get tied up in that. Top crypto conferences to attend this year, Tulip. Homero, I don't know. I missed Consensus, which was upsetting, but I've got some cool conferences coming up more towards the fall and the winter. But for now, in the summer, I'm thinking we might try to do somewhat of a U.S. tour and just visit some cool cities. I got to look towards getting a property here soon, guys, as well as working on a few projects behind the scenes, obviously content, but other things as well. So it's definitely keeping me busy. Crypto H, that's good. The connection was good during the bearish market. Jangles, I like your comment. Nick, coolest things you've ever bought with crypto. Matthew, oh man, I've made some cool transactions with crypto. First, I've done something as small as a purchase of tea, and definitely now the fee. It was back during January. I was in Singapore, it was either January or early February. I bought something as cheap as tea, where I spent like $2 worth of Bitcoin, and then I had to pay a fee on top of it. So that was not a good use case of Bitcoin in that sense. But I'd say I'm trying to think of my purchases because I have done a few like e-commerce purchases with Bitcoin. I'll have to get back. I can do a video also demonstrating as well some spending with Bitcoin, but I've used it for a few different things. If I can ever spend it on meals, shopping out at like local smaller stores, less like big brand names and stuff that accept it. But I'm not a big spender. That's the thing about me. I'm not a good example of using cryptocurrency, but I definitely want other people to use it. yes, I hope to come back to Australia. I'm actually going to do one kind of like not vacation, but more kind of like laid back trip around the world to a few different spots. And I want to go back to Ireland. I want to go back to Switzerland. I want to go back to Australia. And revisit some of the places I went to, some of my favorite areas on the trip. Gage Prey, I will definitely be covering some upcoming ICOs that I like. Stay tuned for that. Sup, Nick? Been away for a month. How have things been? Month and one. Nice to have you in here, man. Glad to have another Aussie back in here. Things have been good. Well, I guess the market hasn't been looking all that good, but for me personally, I've been really taking along and stuff, doing well, and hoping to do some trips around here sometime soon. Things are still going quite well. Appreciate you for asking, by the way. Kelms, I can't tell you about the projects I advise for unless information's ready to be released. It's part of my job. John Russo, what do you consider the most useful crypto, Nick? I shouldn't have mixed crypto and Nick. That's not good. What do I define as the most useful crypto? I'd still say that at this point, crypto works best as digital cash. And I'd say Bitcoin functions well. I like Nano because it's feeless and instantaneous. It scales a little bit better than Bitcoin. So, I don't know. If you're looking outside of the monetary use case, I'd say that some of the most useful projects are those with functioning projects. You have obviously a lot of supply chain logistics ones. I know Wabi is working. There's test products with Walton Chain, all kinds of different projects like that. But most of it's working on more of the commercial end with these products, so you don't get to see it on the surface, and most of them haven't gone mainstream. So I wouldn't want to say it's something like as stupid as CryptoKitties, but there are definitely some cool projects out there. John F, yes, 2 Bitcoin for 1 T. Pedro, that's awesome. You sold a car for Bitcoin. Stack up that Bitcoin while you can. All right, Ferris said it's Discord time, Nick. Yes, we should definitely get some people in from the Discord. Let me know, guys, in the chat if the connection's messing up as well. We want to make sure this runs smooth. Alrighty. Go ahead and get some people here in the chat. We've got a nice stack of people in the general chat. Let's go ahead here, hop into the live stream chat, get some people in here. Alrighty, we'll get some of the usuals. We'll get Coleman here. Go ahead here. Hey, what's up, Colm?
How you doing?
Good. Nice to have you in here. Is there anyone else who wanted to come in?
Yeah, I think Zakira and PyCon did.
Cool. I'm gonna drag Billy and on as well. So let's see. Get PyCon and Sakura wanted to come on as well. Cool.
Yes. So I've had tons of requests to talk about sixth theory, or the sixth theory. And it's on the 6th of every month.
Anyone else want to come in?
Oh, sorry. What'd you say?
On the 6th of every month, Bitcoin either tops or bottoms. And do you think this is market manipulation, or what do you think?
The
of this? I can
6th
send
of
you a
every
chart
month.
here.
Yeah, send me a picture of that. I'd like to see that.
Oh my god. It's the sixth theory.
It's the 6th theory, guys. It's a 666 Illuminati.
It's legit, I swear. Not crazy.
Alright, I DM'd it to you.
Yeah, I didn't catch his name, Nick, but I think Kryptonaut or something like that was wanting to come in too.
I can move my spot, no problem.
Yeah, we can shift some people in and out and everything. Oh, that is interesting. Oh.
Right?
Oh my.
man.
Oh my, oh my. Look at that, ladies and gentlemen. I think we just got a case of market manipulation on the mainstream data dash, exposing these hoes, exposing these market manipulations. Oh. Yep, that's so interesting. Every month, top and bottom. Man, that is interesting. Well, we'll have to see if it lays true. If on the 6th, that's where we see the bottom come in. And maybe a breakout after that. And I like that it's at least they're aiming for it to come in the price range of where we generally saw around 6,800 to 7,000. That would be nice. But interesting factor. I did not notice that. I wonder if that stayed true beforehand as well, outside of just this year.
It did for a couple months. I think only like since August or September, only like half the time it's come true. So for 2018 is really when it's really worked every month. Pretty crazy.
Matthew said Bitcoin for Mars to Earth transactions, lol, but for real. Yeah, well, Matthew, you can send it. I mean, it's still amazing how Bitcoin, which is still kind of, it's a legacy system comparative to a lot of new blockchains and protocols coming out, even though it still operates better than some projects that come out and raise a ton of money. That the fact that back since 2009, you've been able to send Bitcoin from, say, here on the east coast of the US all the way over to Tokyo, Japan, and within a few minutes have it confirmed and you pay practically nothing for it. It's amazing. It's so much better than traditional banking systems. I've been talking to all my banker friends about just the simple function of remittance payments or sending global money transfers, and they just get blown away that Bitcoin can actually do that in a trustless manner. Spoke to the CFTC deputy director and their head attorney, John Russo. Well, what did they say, John? Did you leave a comment before? You can't leave me hanging like that. Anyways, yeah. Wow, that is interesting, guys. Thank you for pointing this out to me.
Yeah, I got it requested by like 5 people in the Discord. It's definitely something people wanted to see.
Man, who's been talking about it? Is it like a lot of people or?
Oh, this guy named Talco Grina. I think that's how you pronounce his name, and then a few others. Not the regulars in the chat, but people that asked me for it. Also, I got some requests for you to talk about the Liquid platform for QASH Cash.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think it will solve the liquidity problem that exchanges get?
There's a lot. The thing about Cash is it's a lot like other projects. I've gotten so many exchanges that are all preaching the same thing, that and correct me if I'm wrong on this on Cash, but they're bridging the gap of a lot of exchanges into one platform, right? And it's going to bring about like one platform that has plenty of liquidity. Is that like?
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing.
Okay, because I've had like 10 ICOs out there. The thing people have to understand is that I reject a lot of people who reach out to me for business offerings, 99.99%. And I only work with gyms. Like, for example, I signed on with Unibright and everything as an advisor. But in regards to all these new things coming out that are saying, oh, we're going to bridge all the exchanges together and we're going to become the #1 platform. The issue about that is that you eventually, if you're pulling in all these things, if the front end interface is for cash, and for example, I commonly use Binance. If eventually you get everyone using cash somehow, you're going to drive the liquidity from all these other exchanges. I don't think they're going to want to, I don't know, maybe I guess if they can get access to the APIs, they can do it no matter what. But I don't think a lot of these exchanges want people going on to cash to trade and say, oh, well, I'm not only getting Binance volume, but I'm also getting the volume of this exchange and this exchange. You know, I just don't see it. And not to mention as well, there's like 10 others doing it. And it's the same issue you run in with protocols. How are you going to convince people to use cash over the dozens of others that might do something better or something slightly different, you know? And I don't want to downplay it. I think that we need anything that can help fix the liquidity crisis we're in right now. But it's not so much that there's not enough volume on one central exchange. Binance is great. Many other exchanges are good. Upbit in South Korea has plenty of volume. The issue lies that we're not adding new liquidity into this market. And because of that, things are easily manipulated with 1,600 cryptocurrencies sharing that volume. So that's what I'd say. Sadu D asked, why is Icon going down so much? Is it because of the delay of the token swap or any other reason? What is your thoughts? Sadu, it's simply the market going down. I think Icon fundamentally is all right, but Jagala's actually brought up a funny meme. There's I don't know if you guys have seen the funds are safe video, which is I think Colm was mentioning it earlier, but
Oh man,
yeah,
the Nachi one, that's great.
Yeah.
Safe.
Funds are safer. Funds are safer. And it's just like
My favorite one, yeah.
it's too funny. But yeah, Sadu, to answer your question, it's just the fact that the general market's going down. Most of the projects haven't changed much on a fundamental sense.
Yeah. I like hybrid block a lot better than cash.
Yeah, hybrid's a good one.
Let's see.
Optimistic about it. But again, it'll, like Nick said, it'll, you know, there's a lot of different ones promising it, so promising the same thing, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's a noble cause to want to provide like a all-in-one platform that will provide liquidity to, you know, on one exchange, but I don't think all these other exchanges want that. They want to have their exchange be the dominant one. And yeah, that's what I was thinking.
The KuCoin's not going to mess with cash. Buybox isn't going to mess with cash.
Yep.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I think you got to be realistic on that just a little bit. I mean, the head guy of the project, I mean, he's a great guy, and I think cash will do well long term. But I think other projects have a better understanding of crypto and will beat it out.
Oh, you guys need a link to the video. I'll share it real quick. We could. I want to watch it, but at the same time, I don't want to like. Unless everyone can guarantee they're gonna go subscribe to him. That's the thing we need. Can we?
Let's
Can,
do it.
all
Let's
right.
watch it.
All right, we should link this out.
Definitely worth it. He's a funny guy.
I think it's like 3 minutes, so not that long.
First off, if you guys, again, you can already see, I'm already subbed. Best meme channel is Bizanachi, I guess is how you pronounce it. So I think, all right, you guys ready to watch it?
Let's go.
All right, let's go and watch it.
Bizanachi bumps up to 30K the next day.
Sub it up, boys.
ファンドズアーセーフ
Everyone knows this feeling.
We're all gonna make it. Oh no. Oh god, no.
ファンドズアーセーフ
I need to withdraw my funds.
ファンドズアーセーフ ファンドズアーセーフ
Chat, spam it for good luck. Spam funds us safe.
ファンドズアーセーフ
That's why they moved to Malta.
ファンドズアーセーフファンドズアーセーフファンドズアーセーフファンドズアーセーフファンドズアーセーフファンドズアーセーフファンドズアーセーフファンドズアーセーフファンドズアーセーフファンドズアーセーフ
All Jesus. The editing skills are like uncomparable.
Grug is rock. Where keep rock?
ボックスはセーフ
See, the reality is, everyone,
Are.
that CZ is in all of us.
Maybe I'm just getting too old. That video's kind of stupid to me.
My funds are safe.
All right, all right.
And what another thing I've been asking about is modem a lot. So,
I hope you guys like that.
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of like PyCon. I've seen it a lot, but it doesn't get old for me. I love like the Bizoniac has like done or Bizonacci. Sorry, Bizonacci's done like so many good meme videos, and I don't know. It's good. It's good laughs.
Damn it.
Dump it. Funds are safe. But yeah, so what were you saying, PyCon? Someone is asking about.
what is it?
Modem.
Modem. Oh, there were several people asking about it.
CA on modem. You could use a quick TA.
Yeah, modem itself, it's like a lot of other ones, a lot of other altcoins right now, especially in the supply chain space. Like it became a little oversaturated. What I liked about modem is that they were in a perfect position for what they're trying to do. They're obviously doing like pharmaceutical shipping for their first focus, but they are in like one of the perfect locations in Switzerland, right between some of the biggest pharmaceutical companies in the world and some of the biggest Swiss banks in the world. So definitely a good position in regards to that. Okay. Oh, guys, yeah, definitely. Want to make sure get you guys his YouTube channel real quick because sorry about that. We watched through his video, so I want to give full credit to him. I'm already subscribed to the man himself, Bizonacci. You guys should definitely go check him out. Tell him Data Dash sent you, and that we all love his based memes. Very, very good content. Alrighty, so let's get some Retrowave back on.
Nick, another Nick here in chat asked if he wanted some wisdom on holochain. I think you already did a coin pick video, a decent little video on holochain.
Yeah, the thing about holochain is that it's one of many. Again, I've been telling people if you're going to look for diversifying your portfolio. Again, I don't want to instruct you guys to do anything. You have to do your own research. But for me, my envisionment for diversification is not only in different blockchain protocols, but it's in DAGs. It's in things like holochain, which takes an age-eccentric approach. Really fascinated by it. If you take the time to understand how it works, it's really genuinely interesting. And it seems like something that can scale much better for things like decentralized applications. And they did a nice little explainer video. If you watch over it a few times, you usually get it. Sal Bao, I usually focus in small to mid caps during the riskier periods, but I don't know specifically. Like I think Juan Chain will probably see some more movement if we get another bull cycle in crypto, but it's not my top project at the moment. CZ is the man from Japan, previously China, and now actually Malta. Yeah, I'm hoping to meet him in Malta. There's a conference there, and I think in October that I might attend. So
I know you get asked a lot about EOS, but I do have a question about EOS. Can you see people selling their coins after they get the airdrop from the VNet? Do you think people will buy to hide and sell the news in this case?
not enough. The tokens are not going to be as valuable, I think, as people are claiming they're going to be. And I think it's going to actually surprise a lot of EOS investors. I would say the majority of EOS investors don't know that if they are holding most are still holding it in Binance. That's the reason why most aren't registered, because Binance is going to obviously know who's holding what, and they're going to give their airdrop tokens to the individuals. And I think when they see that they're going to get airdrop tokens on EOS frequently for a lot of the new projects launching on top of it, they're going to want to stack up more EOS, I think, in a rational sense. I just know that most people haven't done their research on EOS and are speculating on it. And when they realize that there's like a dividend mechanism for the airdrops of projects that launch on top of it, and you've got a lot of excitement that's going to come in. That's what got me excited about EOS.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't aware about the block producers also.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've met some of the potential candidates. Warren Todd, yes, the midnight endless summer. Now say substratum 3 times and really make my day. Substratum, substratum, substratum. There you go, Warren. Now I'm shilling again, aren't I? Okay, let's see here. What are your thoughts on Sia Coin? Is it, I don't know if it's Alejandro or Alessandro. To your question, though, in regards to Sia Coin, I think the ambitions of cloud storage for crypto and generally blockchain, it's limited in some regards, but I think in the same time as well, it is definitely a use case, and Sia Coins prove that you can definitely do it, but I don't know if it's going to beat out, say, Amazon Web Services and a lot of other cloud provider or any kind of general cloud provider. Let's see. Robinhood, dividends, that makes it a security. Robin, I know the whole concept of airdrops is riding very thin on the line of securities, but many people would say, "Oh, well, it's not a direct payment like a dividend, for example, in a stock. It's like, oh, it's not cash payments. It's this airdrop. It's a transaction means of value in this ecosystem, not an official currency." You know.
Yeah. I mean, EOS under U.S. security laws. I mean, EOS would technically classify as a security. So would Ethereum. NEO's a security because it pays out in gas. VeChain would be a security because it pays out in Thor.
Yeah. Yeah, Luis. I'm trying to do a video soon on IDEX. Or registering on IDEX. So I'll see if I can set that up soon, covering decentralized exchanges. You just got to know how to use MetaMask, or, I mean, there's a few other wallets you can connect to it, but how to import funds onto it and then just start trading from there. Is there any good questions coming in, guys?
I pretty much got all the people that asked.
I'm fascinated by it's still hitting me that 6 in the, dare I say, 666 trend. Interesting. It's more sixes than that's the thing.
There must be a blog post that's trending on it or something, because I had a lot of people asking about that one.
It's another one of the like, it's like the cartel, the Bitcoin cartel article.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything on it though when I tried to Google it.
Nick says Hollow can take out Amazon Web Services. It's a bold claim. Amazon Web Services provides a good service, but I don't think distributed or decentralized systems don't have a chance at taking down centralized systems, especially for different use cases.
Yeah, Bent says NEO is a security. Then, yep, under U.S. law, technically, NEO would be a security because it pays out a dividend. So if you hold NEO, you earn gas, and gas would what category?
It would at least, it might fall under the standards of the Howey test. In regards to there's a lot of people that will debate that the SEC is not going to treat cryptocurrencies, even the mechanism of things like airdrops, as a security. But I mean, it was the same rumor that went around that when I think actually PyCon and I and a few of the guys in the Discord, we were talking about this, where everyone was fearful a few weeks ago that there was an SEC meeting that never actually happened. But there's been an ongoing debate and discussion that Ethereum could be registered as a security. But the lawyers and attorneys behind Ethereum, plus the SEC, have shown right now that they're not going to enforce it as a security at the moment. And that's why.
One thing right now, which I don't think people realize, is the technically to the SEC, I mean, I think personally, I believe if the SEC had their way, all crypto would be a security.
Yep.
Now, this is where we benefit from two groups because we have the SEC and the CFTC. So, the CFTC has a different stance on crypto than the SEC does, a better stance. So, the CFTC wants to see regulations that protect consumers without hindering the growth and innovation of technology.
Yep.
Whereas the SEC believes all ERC-20 tokens are securities. To me, I think the SEC believes ETH is a security. Even I think the SEC, if they had the opportunity, would classify Bitcoin as a security.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. It is interesting because people think that the government and banks have built a collective effort on approaching crypto. It's been so out of nowhere, guys. Again, I think we're kind of caught in this bubble that we all know crypto is going to be the next big thing. And that's very true, I think, to a degree. But we need to understand what PyCon was talking about, which is that there are so many different regulatory agencies with different people, with different influences. Same goes for banks as well, commercial and central banks, as well as international banking organizations like the BIS, the IMF, World Bank, whatever it may be. All these organizations have different approaches. And what they're trying to do right now is come to a close on what this technology is, what it means, and how they can deal with it. Some do not want to integrate it. Some feel it's a threat. Some people are legitimately trying to have a nice, regulated, trustless currency that can operate well in an economy. And some bankers actually do support Bitcoin. That's why you get mixed signals. But for the most part, I think the traditional system is just absolutely scared out of their mind. And that's why you have some of the preliminary actions of the SEC, whereas the CFTC, their whole job is, as PyCon was issuing, is to make sure that they don't stifle innovation, but they don't let markets get out of hand. They don't let BitConnects rise up. The SEC seems to be the enforcer of it most of the time, but really the CFTC is the one who usually enforces on a lot of those cases. Let's see. Speaking of manipulation, is it profitable for a whale to drop a huge amount of Bitcoin on the market while simultaneously shorting the market on leverage with other whales? Some people would argue yes, and some people would argue no. It depends on.
It happens all the time.
Yeah, I would say for the most part, yes. It's not every case, but it is very frequent, like PyCon's saying.
Yeah. Now sometimes it's not as frequent as what it used to be, but I mean it still happens. And they're still gambling themselves because sometimes I would say there are cases where it doesn't work out for them and they might lose money, but
Will this happen in traditional finance at
all? No, because in most cases, if you're trading on leverage, you're usually trading, whereas in BitMEX, you're usually trading on separate exchanges. You're not trading Bitcoin when you're trading on BitMEX. You're trading Bitcoin contracts. I would say...
one contract is equivalent to $1, basically.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So it's a little bit separate than, for example, if I were to go in traditional markets, and most exchanges do that. Not to mention they probably have regulations that say you can't do that, to like invest in the underlying asset or to sell the underlying asset, go short, and then I would say to sell the underlying asset on an exchange while also trading it on leverage on another account or coordinating that of some sort. I don't know if there'd be any law against that, but
yeah, most of your big margin trading players, right? People who margin trade, they don't care if Bitcoin's 15,000 or if it's 3,000.
Mm-hmm.
I think they believe Bitcoin's going to go up in value, but they don't care where its price is at because most of them don't trade altcoins very frequently. They just margin trade on 1 minute or 5 minute candles, and they do that. Some people use bots. Some people will set and manually do it for 6-8 hours a day, 5-6 days a week. So Bitcoin's price doesn't matter.
Sir, in regards to your question, next, so sort of interested in poly, if you're looking for polymath or whatever, I think that they're way overhyped. And for Morpheus, I think the project Morpheus is good. They've got a lot of good developments. They've obviously have their alpha software, which is nice. But yeah, I mean, it's a good project for the most part. Abel, the 6 seems to match the settlement date of CME futures. Ah, that is interesting.
No, CME, the futures end towards the end of the month.
It was on the 25th, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that's
the beginning. Now, I don't know if this is a correlation to the 6th of the month, but a lot of mining companies, so not like individual miners, like you're mining in your basement or your college dorm, or you're just a personal individual who went out and bought like 50, GTX 1080 Ti's or something. But when I say like your mining corporations, I'm talking about places like Genesis and other places who have power bills, who got loans they have to take, pay, who have employees, insurance. They have to sell Bitcoin regardless of what the price is. And they have certain time periods during the month when their bills are due.
Yeah.
They don't play on speculative price, right? So they have to sell and take profit. They have to sell to keep their revenue and their company going.
Abel says to look at the CME website for settlement calendar.
I think it's the end of the month.
Usually most contracts tend to expire towards the end of the month, but you might be right on that. I think I'm out. It's very late here. Thank you for answering my questions. Yeah, Jack, have a nice night. Thank you for coming on. We'll be wrapping this up here, guys, at 10 o'clock. It's 9:56 right now, so we got a little bit of time for some more questions.
Yeah, so CBOE and CME, I believe, both are the end of the month.
Vervel said CME is on the 18th, guys. Check every month on the 18th of the past 3 months. The price is around 8,300 from coming up and coming down trend. This is crazy. Is that the settlement, Vervel? I'm curious. Are you focusing on price? I don't know. Let's get some last good questions in here, guys. We're gonna be wrapping this up, but it's been definitely a good time. Let's see if we got any good things in the chat. Grand Outdoors, fun fair. Nothing negative towards them, but I need to know that they're bringing in users for their platform to make the token useful. And it seems kind of not like a dead project, but it seems like people are investing in them more in a speculative reason. And
lost guy, for the love of God, when will we become decentralized?
Yeah,
if you want to be realistic, is never.
I think you're gonna have the whole thing though is decentralization gets caked up to be that it's going to impact everything, and it's like the internet. You're not going to decentralize everything in the world. Some things work better with central authoritarians and hierarchy, and that's why you see some blockchains coming out with permission blockchains, permissionless blockchains, things like proof of authority, which are much more authoritative. But in regards to decentralization, I think you're going to see it in areas where it's needed most. Money, cutting out middlemen in so many different industries. You have supply chain logistics, you have escrow, you have smart contracts, which can be used for a variety of things from legal matters to just simply executing functions automatically, autonomously. I think it'll be used for IoT to a degree. There are some serious use cases for decentralization of blockchain. I think money is the top one, though. Having no system of trust for money, that to me seems like something I could get really behind.
Yeah, but even then, I think the government will have its fingers in the middle some way, because if they don't, then they're just if they don't feel like what we were talking about earlier before the live stream. I feel that they don't feel like they have some sort of authority or control, they will just ban it. But as long as they feel like they have some form of control or authority, then
yeah, there'll be a neutral balance. I don't think crypto's gonna ride completely off the rails and stuff, and I think there's obviously, like we've been talking about, there's going to be not only an ETF, but you'll see regulation step in as this market develops. Thomas, thank you very much for the BTC donation, guys. I know we get some very nice cash donations, but we do accept crypto as well if you guys want to do that. Thank you very much, Thomas. Appreciate it. I'll definitely check it out here in just a minute. Let's see here. We'll take 2 more questions.
One guy, I think his name was Luke. I've done lost him on the thing. Asked, what do you think what are your favorite long-term altcoins?
There's a few different. It's mostly a few different protocols, guys. I've answered this a lot. I mean, in regards to I don't like to kind of show my long-term holdings. I'll mention them from time to time, but it's mostly generally a lot of protocols I like. Obviously, I've got Cardano. I just added EOS recently. What else is there? That's really my good long-term holdings. Because some of them are not exactly long-term. Some of them are sometimes, like, it depends on what your definition of long-term is. But in crypto, long-term can be much, much shorter. I'd say
my definition of long-term in crypto's
a year,
a couple months,
couple
not
months.
Even a year,
Yeah.
You know? So I play like short trades, which I generally up to like 3 to 6 days is what I consider a short trade. Like a midterm trade is somewhere between like a week to maybe a month.
So different than other markets. It's crazy.
And then long-term trade, you know, can be like 2 to 3 months.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. Let's see.
Crypto is the stock market on fast forward.
Yeah, it's on steroids.
Chillin 420 said, this is a good last question. Would you use a pseudonym if you made a peer-to-peer coin? Well, guys, what should my pseudonym be? What should it be? I don't know. What would we make it? I can't
A
think.
lot of people call you Daddy Dash.
That's exactly, dude. That's so weird. I was thinking about that. The Daddy Dash. I mean, that's I enjoyed the jokes, but it's cringy sometimes. Daddy Dash. I think it's so funny. Everyone in Australia was calling me that. Like all the close guys are like, oh look, here comes Daddy Dash. I was like, oh god. Chillin' Forward 20. Thank you very much for the good question. We'll take one more here and then we'll wrap it up. All right. CJ James knows the stuff. How will the Deutsche Bank fiasco affect the crypto market? CJ, many people are saying right now, I read on not only Zero Hedge, but obviously all my networks of people who study traditional finance have been saying that Deutsche Bank is going to be the equivalent of Lehman Brothers from 2008. So take with that as you will. Deutsche Bank having to cut 7,000 employees. I don't think that's just a corporate layoff. I think they've got some serious underlying issues. Deutsche Bank has been pushing off its collapse for a while. It's the whole thing about the potential recession that's coming. It's kind of it's something like it's been yelled about for years. The fundamentals are crap. Yeah, it's just a matter of having a catalyst that's going to actually push the dominoes over. You know. We already have the dominoes. They're shaking. The surface they're based on are shaking. The fundamentals are not good. It's a matter of having something that's going to push, things over. We're already seeing again, credit. You're seeing, for example, credit interest rates over credit. Obviously, interest rates are generally going up. You're seeing mortgages start to default. They're starting to curve back upwards, especially high yield mortgages. I mean, you have the same practices that were there in 2008. So on that note, I think over the next few months to a year, for this case, up somewhere towards 2020, you're going to have a recession of some sort. And with that, a massive pullback in stock markets, a massive pullback in housing prices, especially in the cities where they're overinflated. No one's living in a ton of them. They're empty buildings that are just being used as investment vehicles. And I think when you have all these things come in, and generally a general credit squeeze, people are going to realize just how much we've inflated an asset bubble up in the global economy.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think I guess there's really no way to do it without being political, but I know you have people who are left, you have people who are right, people who are middle, but generally the Republican Party, especially when they get control of stuff, has always been fairly well for the stock market in general. And I have a feeling, at some point they're going to lose the House or Senate presidency.
I think the misconception is, and you saw, well, to be fair, you see both parties usually preach the stock market as a good indicator. For example, I know there was all these memes going around, and also I think in one of his presidential ads, they had Obama. He was mentioning when he was running against Romney that there was like the Dow Jones and all the major indicators are up, same as Trump. It was kind of funny because Trump used to call out that kind of stuff, He used to say that's not a real indicator. Unemployment's actually this number, and then obviously he touts it during his presidency and stuff. It's just, it happens all the time. It's used for political gain, when in reality, asset markets don't preach real growth. They used to. They used to signal that we actually are having real value. Like, in order for a stock to really move up, you needed actual earnings. You needed real fundamentals. But we're in an artificial market where none of that matters. It's a matter of how much stock repurchases can you push? How much dividends are you paying your investors? What kind of hype story can you sell? It's all speculation.
Yeah. Right now, I think a lot of it's overvalued.
Yeah. I think
the stock market's definitely due for a correction.
Yeah.
So is the housing market, which I think the housing market's going to crush people far more than the stock market.
Yeah, that's where it hits people personally, because I think it's 50% of Americans, the bottom 50% income-wise, only own 0.5% of all assets. So it's more going to be the upper end that's going to get hit in regards to the stock market correcting. And to be fair, one thing that sucks is, like you mentioned, not only the housing market hit, but it sucks because when the stock market goes up, it really doesn't help the average person, but when it goes down, it sure as hell hits the average person, even though they don't own assets. It'll still hurt them because you have layoffs, you have companies. In this case, there's going to be a massive crisis, in my opinion, of companies that went off borrowed capital, and when the stock market starts dipping, they're going to be in a lot of debt from all the money that they borrowed and invested into the stock market. And from there, they're going to owe a lot of money to the banks they borrowed from. And then many of them are either going to have massive cuts to research and development, layoffs, whatever. And it's going to be a huge crisis for a lot of corporations who thought forever they could just keep buying their own stock and propping up to please investors, to keep them from selling. And you learn as well that a lot of the smart money, as many people call it, there's actually a smart money flow index by Bloomberg. Zero Hedge was pointing out, if you guys go to Zero Hedge, there's an article that talks about 12 market reversal indicators for like a recession, and that index is having the largest drop since 2008. So good to look at that if you get the chance. But anyways, on that, guys, I'm gonna wrap up the stream for tonight. We've been doing this for 2 hours, definitely a little bit tired, but I gotta, more than anything, get some water, take a breather. But I had a wonderful time with you guys on, as always. Thank you guys for joining on the Discord. Glad to have you all as always, and we'll stay on the Discord, obviously, in the general chat. So come join us, guys. Want to definitely keep chatting up and keeping the discussion going. For those of you who hopped in the stream, thank you all very much. Glad to have you here tonight. Thank you for the donations and the continued support and good questions. Until the next video, everyone, stay safe, stay smart, and I will see you all soon. Take care. Let's let the music play out.
Yeah.